Our players came up with this bet, and I even had to look up what it means. But what it means to me is bringing everyone together, and that's what our team has done. So bet. Our players come up with this bet.
There he is, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, even had to look up what it means.
Over the weekend, as we welcome you in on this Monday. Scar loves it. He's laughing. Former Wolverine. Scar, hello. How are you?
That's our guy, man. Put the little spin on it. Put the Harbaugh spin on things, man. Bring everyone together, baby. Jim, those are the little things in being a head coach and leader that, you just can't read in a book, man. Thinking on your feet, Denny. Thinking on the fly. But Denny, I'm fired up, man. You don't get no better than this, man. I've been going down to Michigan practices for like 43 years. They've got the banners hanging up there. Ever since we built the first indoor practice facility, they put the championship banners up there. And we had a long stretch with nothing. Well, we got, we're keeping that dude busy. Whoever that banner hanging guy is. And so it's real nice to go down to the old Glick, the indoor football facility, and see these banners. And we're also keeping the ring guy busy, the dude who fits the rings. I remember going through that, and that's just a beautiful thing of where we are as a program. Keep the ring guy busy and keep the banner guy busy.
We are going to keep you busy with some Michigan talk. We'll look at the freshly minted matchup for the Rose Bowl, January 24. Michigan taking on Alabama. We'll get Scar's thoughts on that. The coach also brings his widely popular film review, and that'll come your way. He's got some fresh film from Michigan Saturday night against Iowa. I'm looking forward to that. And we'll start with some of this college football news. We always take your feedback as well. I see a lot of that coming in. Scar, the feedback right off the bat. It says portal. The portal is hot over the weekend. Certainly today, a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of teams are going to be shopping in the portal.
Hey, Danny, I think a lot of these quarterbacks, there's no guarantee they're going to play pro football or have successful pro football careers, and they've got agents. These guys have agents, okay, and there's money out there. And they're going to capitalize it. And I don't know how the negotiations work or this, that, or whatever. But I mean, you got the Oklahoma kid jumped in there. You got the Duke guy, Leonard, jumped in there. Dante Moore, the kid from Washington State is good. The Ward kid. You got the kid from Kansas State. These are all real good quarterbacks, and they're marketable, man. And they can make in a new head coach, you get the wrong quarterback, you get fired. It's so important that when you get a job like Mike Elko now down at Texas A&M, and some of these guys that just like the Indiana guy, you better get the right quarterback. You better get your right coaching staff, D coordinator, offensive coordinator, but you better try to wheel that in. Now I see a lot going on in Columbus. But you always got to look close at some of these kids that are going in the portal. Are they players? Did they play? Were they even in the too deep? Now losing the quarterback, I think that's good for Michigan because I think that kid, he started, 12 games. He would have been a better player for them next year. Now apparently they must think they can get a better guy. Or Danny, I got to believe that McCord is getting beat up. Social media, the media in Columbus, I got a feeling it's real miserable for that kid. He might just say, you know what, the hell with it. I'm going to another part of the country. Maybe I'll go play for Dilfer over at UAB somewhere. But the portal's hot. Jim does a great job with it. We'll be, we got people on it. We know what's out there. He'll know what guys are coming back and what guys are leaving. We're going to have a bunch of guys jump in the portal. There's guys that aren't playing that aren't, they're team guys. They did what they did their part to contribute to this team. But I guarantee you there's about, 20, 30 guys that they're just not happy with their situation, the reps they're getting, et cetera. So everybody's going to have guys leave. You just don't want to lose, the guys that are contributing. That's what you don't want to lose.
Yeah, well, you mentioned when Michigan was not winning Big Ten titles, there was a 16-year gap there. Ohio State was winning most of them. They were beating Michigan most of that time as well. And the biggest reason was the quarterback position. So Michigan with the stability right now at the quarterback position, and now you see Ohio State in flux there. And yeah, going out and getting a signal caller you can really hit the jackpot. I mean, look at half of the teams that are in the college football playoff. Penix came from Indiana, and Quinn Ewers, he came from Ohio State, right?
Yeah, so you got to get that position right, and and you obviously you better have some funding for it, but you got to have a team too, and the whole overall, the whole scene's got to be right, and that's where your ability as a leader, the offensive coordinator, a kid comes on campus, he's got to feel right with that whole thing. Our offense. Listen, we're not throwing it like USC. We're not going to throw it as much as those guys. So a kid comes to Michigan, a receiver comes to Michigan, you got to understand that this is what we are. This is what we do. That's why we can bring in tight ends, though. We might have better success bringing in running backs than other people or defense. It is what it is. We're not going to change what we do. But here's a question. Scar, tell me the offense will be okay. Our offense is going to be fine. Alabama will have, they'll have a defense like Penn State and Ohio State talent-wise. I don't know that they're going to be better than Penn State. Jerry's going to be the guy that's going to really review their defense. But they've got good they're going to have 4 or 5 star players everywhere. And Saban's a good coach, smart coach. But it ain't going to be no different than going against Penn State's defense and Ohio State's defense talent-wise. And you got to remember this, Denny. Look, we've won 3 championships in a row. We got good players. Okay, but we're not just walking on the field out talenting people. Okay, we're out scheming. We're out techniquing. We're giving people problems in all phases: offense, defense, special teams. We do the little things, but we do the little things better. Okay, so we're not going to walk on the field with Alabama and say, we just got better players. That ain't happening. But we beat Penn State. We beat these people doing what we do, and that's executing, scheming, fooling people, being better at the little things. Give them problems on defense. Give their offense problems against our defense, but we'll move the ball against them. The ability to run and throw. We will move the ball.
Yeah, there will be some Michigan players in the portal, but right now, if you're sitting there, you can finish up the semester, you can go to the college football playoffs, and you never know. If you're on the team and you have a shot to get on the field, I would think after the season is over, that's when you would see some more of that news. If somebody was hitting the portal right now, I got to believe they would be so deeply buried on the Michigan depth chart that you would see the name. You'd be like, oh, hey, good luck to that guy. And that's kind of the way it goes. Like the portal, if you're a real good team right now, the portal right now has been a real positive. And if you're not, you can make it a positive, but you're going to lose a lot of guys. And right now, the position that Michigan is in, they've been taking advantage of it. And, they did a great job last year with almost all of the 10 guys that they were able to scoop up and get there. So they've done the job, the recruiting.
Their homework. Yeah, Denny, we did our homework because we didn't bring one transfer in that wasn't a solid contributor, and that's doing your homework, man.
That I wouldn't say that that's true, Scar. They brought in a couple guys that there was uncertainty at kicker, and so they brought a couple. They brought 2 different kickers in, and a guy, Hudson Hollenbach, he never saw the field, but hey, he might have if Turner didn't work out, or he was a kicker or a punter, and if it wasn't Doman, that's a good idea. Throwing as many resources as you can, getting guys to come in, and having a shot to compete for a starting job. But overall, you're right. When you look at the transfers, you can make a case. Jack Tuttle. He didn't play very much, but he's in a spot. He's one snap away from being a pretty big time contributor in a pretty big time game. Hopefully we don't, you don't see him except on the sideline or at the end of the game or something like that. But, most of the guys, to your point, have been money. Barner at tight end, fabulous. Drake Nugent.
Danny Barner's the kind of kid. I think his reasons to come to Michigan were multiple. Okay, tired of getting beat up at Indiana. So the kid, that's like the perfect deal. That guy, he says, like, I want to win a championship. He got tired of getting beat. And he also wants to play for a guy in a system that's going to develop pro tight ends. So, and then getting a great degree from Michigan. So that guy probably had multiple reasons, and only Michigan could have offered those things for him. Now, we may have trouble getting some receivers because we don't throw it as much. They see the Penn State game. These kids aren't stupid. We don't throw it as much as other guys, but it is what it is, man.
No, I hear you there. So offensive linemen and, tight ends and running backs, you'd think that they would be flush there. And I don't know what the approach is when it comes down to name, image, and likeness, but it really seems like maybe just the older players, they're able to see it and they're able to figure it out. And they're going for, like you say, multiple reasons, not just the money, where the kids that are in high school, it seems like they are jumping more to just the promise of money up front, which you're not supposed to do technically, but everybody's doing it. But there we go. It's
Denny, speaking of money up front,
he's getting hit with it. Go ahead.
Texas A&M. You notice all the guys leaving, the committed recruits leaving. Okay, you know what that tells me? That tells me that Mike Elko, the new head coach, Santa left town. Jimbo left town with the bag. I don't think the new coach is spending all that money on these new kids. That's why you're seeing all those kids decommit.
Maybe, who knows if you're getting a promise of name, image, and likeness, and then you're also getting some cash up front. However they disperse that money, like, Walter Nolan was defensive tackle that Michigan liked. I saw that he's the number one player in the country. Who knows what they gave him, but if they gave him, let's say, $100,000 cash as, they were sitting there in a restaurant and said, here, Walter. And then once you come in here, we've got $1 million, for you that will be distributed, in $500,000 increments. But I'm saying if he's already got 95% of that money, these guys are free agents again. They're ready to go and see if they can get a second payday if they're Walter Nolan. Or maybe, they're looking – they're feeling a little different now that they got money in their pocket. It's not all about the Benjamins. It could be about, things that you say, such as, oh my God, school, could be one of the things. And then, winning might be, could be another one. So there are a lot of different factors in there.
Yeah, Danny, I tell you, I'm just seeing Ohio State. There's, I don't know how true it is. How many of these players are not going to play in that game for Ohio State? McCord probably isn't. Harrison probably isn't. And the running back and all these players, it's getting to the point, Denny, where these bowl games are like scrimmages. That's what they are. They're like scrimmages in getting your team ready for the following year. You got guys that want to play, are going to be prospects. They don't want to take a chance of getting hurt. You got guys that are going to transfer, so the coach doesn't want to play them because they're going to, why play them? And it's a unique situation, man. Who's going to be there? Anybody trying to bet on a bowl game now is crazy. You got to wait until kickoff, just before kickoff, to see who the heck's in the lineup. But it's like a scrimmage, man. It's interesting bowl games, man.
Well, and it's only going to get worse. They can, if they stepped up, they should pay their insurance policies. The school or NIL should, and if the bowl reps, they've got so many of these guys. I used to sit in the press box, and I used to sit next to these guys with like orange blazers on, and it's we're the Orange Bowl reps. These guys just go around partying, go to the game, we're the Orange Bowl reps. They start taking some of that money that they're making and start giving it to some of the players. Maybe some of those guys will start, going
That's
to.
right. Maybe you'll see more of these kids playing.
Yeah, that's it. But it's been that way. And the focus, it hasn't always been. That's the one part. And I'm willing to, like if people yearn for yesteryear, like, oh, I used to love New Year's Day where there was 50 bowl games and, guys didn't leave and all of that. Well, now there's just focus on the college football playoff. Well, the focus is going to be on the college football playoff next year with 12 teams. And the rest of these bowl games, there's a lot of people that are just looking at these bowl games. Hey, there's people that like to gamble. And, there's something. I mean, how many bowl games you actually watching, Scar? Are you watching?
Oh man, I won't miss too many. I'll be.
You're going to watch,
all of them, man. Toledo, anybody. I'm watching
you
college
watch any
football.
of them. Hey, you're a big college football fan. There you go. I like it.
But I tell you, the one of the biggest decisions, Denny, that we are all U of M people are sitting waiting on is what's JJ McCarthy going to do. And I was looking into this. I guess these guys got the early signing is December 20th. And then you got to decide if you're going to be a pro by January 15th. So I'm sure him and Jim, they know exactly where we stand. Then that decision has been made.
Disagree. Totally disagree on that.
Oh, so you don't think JJ has made his decision and communicated that to Jim Harbaugh?
Oh, I think he's had conversations with Jim Harbaugh, but here's what the conversation is. Like right now, JJ McCarthy, you could make a case that he's not in a top 4 of the quarterbacks, maybe 5, that he might not even be a first rounder. And so if he wasn't going to be a first rounder, do you think he's telling Jim, I'm gone no matter what? I'm just going to go, even if I'm not projected by anybody to be in the first round. Like if they would have lost on one of these last 2 games, I don't think that he would have been projected to be in the first round. If he goes out against Alabama and plays really well and then comes back and, duels with Michael Penix and throws up 4 touchdowns, guess what? He is going to move up. I could see him going as high as the number 2 pick. If he's going to be a top 2, top 5, top 10, top 15, maybe even a first-round pick, well, then the decision's going to be pretty easy for him. Loves college, loves Michigan, loves Harbaugh, but I think he'll be compelled to go. But I think a lot is going to have to do with these last games, 1 or 2 games that he has left. He plays really well. He works himself higher into the first round. If he doesn't, he's going to be out of the second round. That's a lot with these games that is going to be decided, especially since the Penn State game, he hurt his ankle, maybe bruised his knee, whatever it is that ailed him. We know they didn't throw the ball at all in the second half, but he really, he ran and played well against Ohio State, but he wasn't the JJ like that was running around against MSU or some of the first 6 games where, he was weaving in and out and he looked like, if he had that kind of stuff going for him. If he puts the team on his back against Alabama or Texas or Washington, I could see him moving up and being a top 5 pick. Then he's gone.
Yeah, Denny, I think
Harbaugh knows that, and he understands.
Yeah, I think I disagree from this standpoint. I think that in his heart, he's 80. I don't want to, I'm just going to throw out some numbers. I think he's 80-90% sure of what he wants to do before we even play another football game. I think there may be some truth to what you're saying. I disagree though, because I think I think going through it, what he's been through, he realizes what kind of NIL he's making now. He sees what he's probably has people talking to the draft people, but what we won't know. You gave your point. I think he's 80-90% sure of what he wants to do already. But I guess we're just going to see, because I'm sure he doesn't want to leave Jim in Michigan not able to go out and compete to get a good transfer if that's the direction Jim wants to go. They have a great relationship. JJ cares about Michigan. He will definitely let Jim know, so he knows how to plan for the future of our program. That's what I believe.
Yeah, and I think Harbaugh will be planning for the future with or without him. And certainly he would love to have J.J. McCarthy. We don't even know if Jim Harbaugh is coming back yet. That's not decided. Now, look, what would be the best for Michigan is if Jim Harbaugh signs a contract tomorrow and is going to be with Michigan for another 10 years. It'd be time to party if that happens. It would also be great if Michigan obviously wins the next 2 games and, J.J. decides, hey, I'm coming back for 1 more year. I mean, but maybe both of those things happen. Go ahead. I mean, that's what would be best for Michigan football. But, 1 or 2 or, the other scenario where both could be gone. Nobody likes to think about that one right now. I don't like to talk about it. So,
yeah. Danny, real quick, changing gears, Florida State. You heard Scar all year long talk about the importance of not running our quarterback any more than we have to. So you look at their quarterback getting hurt against like Alabama A&T or whoever the hell they were playing. Weren't they up like 20 at the time? And the impact of getting your quarterback hurt, running them when you really don't need to. So I just wanted to point that out, how you got to be real selective. And I think Michigan did a darn good job because really we didn't really start running them until Penn State. We had to against Penn State to win that game. And, we did it against Iowa once. Then we did it again the following play. I questioned that. But anyway, I just want to talk about how important that is. If you're going to run your quarterback, man, you better be smart and get them out of bounds. And as far as the Florida State deal, Denny, and Alabama coming in, I looked at the criterion, and then they did have, they got coaches in that committee. And one of the things that I heard the guy talking yesterday was they asked the coaches, and this is the $1 million question that I would want to know as a coach. Who would you rather play, Alabama or Florida State? And they do have these coaches that are in that committee. So that question is asked, and it's a legitimate question, and it's a real simple answer. Without that quarterback, there's no question. Okay, but with that quarterback, you probably, then it's not, you're not even having that discussion. But the question I have is this: if they ask this question, because I faced this, Denny, as a high school coach who made you, it was the same deal. You have a district. You'd have the number one team based on your record and how well you did versus the 4 team, the team that had the lowest point. It was the same process, right? And there's many times I had the number one team and I'd end up playing the last team I wanted to play would be the 4th team. They might have had a tougher schedule and whatever. But the question I have is, they asked that question about into the committee. They asked the coaches in the committee, who would you rather play? And they said, well, we'd rather play Florida State. Okay, I get that. So that's why Alabama made it. That's why they're 4. I think Michigan should be able to be asked the same question. Okay, here's these 4 teams: Washington, Texas, Alabama. Okay, Michigan, we think you're number 1. Why not ask them the same question? Who's the last team you want to play? I know I'd rather play Washington would be the first team I'd want to play. Texas, I think Texas and Alabama are both about the same, but I'd rather play Washington than either of those two. Texas has some things that Alabama doesn't. Alabama has some things Texas doesn't. Alabama got Texas at the right time. Texas got Alabama at the right time. When they played them, when that was that kid's second start, this quarterback's a totally different kid. They're a different team. I just wanted to voice that out there. I'm totally fine playing Alabama. We're going to beat them. We're going to, I'm just throwing that out there as a little food for thought.
Yeah, Scar, I think you're thinking too logically, and you're thinking like a former coach and player, which you were. So I understand that. Let me tell you about the College Football Selection Committee and their criteria. What the College Football Selection Committee, they change it every week as far as they want it. And if you watch that Bo guy, the one week he was talking about, well, Bo Nix had a real nice completion percentage. And so, Bo Nix had a completion percentage. If I was down at Florida State and I was one of their fans, I would, Mike Norvell, I'd feel bad for Florida State. They played LSU in the non-conference. They went out there and they went undefeated. I hate that you can't say, you guys, usually you can say, hey, go out there and win all your games and it'd be different. They went out there and won all their games, and they went out there and played LSU in the non-conference. I hate that. I would think about for a second, if I was Norvell, saying, let's just boycott these son of a bitches. But then I would say, what we need to do is go out and beat Georgia. And then we could tell everybody, if we could beat Georgia, we could beat Alabama. And if one of those, we hope that this doesn't happen, one of those one-loss teams, Texas or Alabama, wins it all, I'd be down there in Tallahassee proclaiming that we want a share of the national championship. We went undefeated. And everybody would say, okay, but, they would have a point there. And so I feel bad for FSU. But that selection committee, football is about competition and, everybody loves it. But how far do we go before we start talking about, well, that TV money? Oh, that TV money. That TV money is a game changer. And that selection committee, they want matchups. And there's no juicier matchup ever that has ever been put out there than Nick Saban's Alabama against Jim Harbaugh's Wolverines in the Rose Bowl on January 1st. Are you kidding me? They say, what about this game? Or, Florida State really deserves to, those guys, any way that we could, they had to, once Texas won, they had to put Texas in there because they couldn't, have Texas and not Alabama. So, Florida State got screwed. There's no doubt about that. But it's because of the TV money and that selection committee. People that try to this is their reasoning. They did it because they love the matchup. And the TV loves the matchup. And I got to say that it is the greatest matchup that I've ever seen in the college football playoff. But that selection committee, they're not sitting around. They're sitting around running up tabs and drinking and eating as much as they can. That takes about 5 minutes to come up with and those guys have put hours in there. And Ward's on there. Ask him one time, he's probably out playing golf the majority of the time. I don't know what he's smoking cigars, and these guys aren't sitting around mashing quite the numbers and thinking about it just to quite like everybody thinks that they are. It's a pretty easy deal.
No, I get it, but Denny, I looked at their criterion, but the fine print that that's the part that they didn't have right there in the main column is if there's a coaching change or there's a change in personnel, that is a factor. So that's how they got the shaft.
Yeah. Well, I feel for them, and I get it, for Florida State fans. Although Danny Cannell could go jump in the lake, it used to be the media, when I started in radio, there were no blogs or anything else. You'd go in, it'd just be a bunch of old newspaper guys. And, these guys are sitting there so stuffy, and they didn't want anybody rooting for, it was all right down the middle. Now, man, everybody, you're a super fan. Danny Cannell is out there slapping people around, telling everybody to go to hell. And it's just everybody's a super homer now. I mean, that's the way the media is right now. And hey, the fans like it that way. F this company, F this it is one nasty cauldron, and the media is right involved in all of it. So for better or for worse, that's where we're at. Here I am wearing a 1000 shirt. So let's go.
That's right, baby.
All right, Scar, what else? You poured over. Well, you're going to watch all the bowl games. How about we actually talk about Alabama? You know what? Kirby Smart said that Milroe, I don't have the exact quote, but he basically sounded like he was calling him a souped up Lamar Jackson.
That's a good comparison. Yeah, he is. He's really improved as the year's gone on. And I'm just going to focus on their offense because, like I said, Jerry's going to cover their defense. But kid's name is Milroe, real humble kid. I heard him interviewed. You'd like to play with that guy as your quarterback. Tough kid. He's not like Leah. People compared him to Leah. I don't compare him to Leah. He's more physical than Leah. I don't think he's as good a passer as Leah. But they will run him, predetermined runs, and he will run people over. He's a big, tough, physical kid. Again, they'll have some predetermined runs. But, he'll make mistakes. He's not going to be the accurate pinpoint passer. JJ, Leah, that's not his thing. And we got to stop the run with the running back first. We cannot let them hand the ball off to a running back. You'll see what they do. They want to they do a lot of stuff. He's a smart defensive coach. He knows the things that give you problems. And they do a lot of stuff, but you stop the run with the running back. And everything just like we do. Everything starts with the ball in the gut of the running back. And we'll get into film next week. And then you got to stop the quarterback, keep off of everything. But their offensive line is going to be big, bad, tough, highly recruited, physical dudes. Running backs, big, strong, tough. But we faced that with Ohio State. We faced it with Penn State. Their offensive line isn't better than Penn State. It's about the same. Highly recruited, big, tough, athletic dudes that are mean and good. Okay? And but the more I look at film, I think we're going to give them different stuff. Minter's going to give them different looks, and Kirby Smart did some unique things. I was looking at the Georgia game. some of his stuff was like, wow, okay, I see what his thought was, but I just got down here. Let's, take away the run, take away the quarterback run. And
I'm sorry.
I'm going a little long, Denny.
No, I'm sorry. That was my Kirby Smart impersonation. I should have told you.
Oh, but anyway, Denny, listen.
I could have freaked you out.
Take away the running back, take away the quarterback, keep off that stuff. Those are the two things they do great. If we get by those two phases and get him to where he has to throw, now we're in great shape. We got to take away the first two phases of the RPO game. You got it, Denny? That's Scar's deal stopping this football team. Take away the first two phases, make him beat you by being an accurate passer. That's how we win this football game.
Let me give you two questions here, Scar. One, I think that Michigan has two guys that'll give the Wolverines defense a pretty good look in terms of scout. Identical, big, physical, can throw the ball, but could also run. And Alex Orji, those two guys in practice might do a pretty good impersonation of Milroe. So there's that point. But I wanted to ask you about bowl prep, because, this is something that the rivals of Michigan, certainly the opposition, will look at Michigan and say, yeah, Michigan's been pretty good, except in bowl games. Michigan's only won that first bowl game, against Florida. Then they've lost all the other ones. Now, these last 2 years, it's different because they've been into the college football playoff. Would I've rather have gone to some, other, like even a New Year's Eve, New Year's Six bowl and won that the last 2 years rather than going to the college football? No, of course not. But the point remains is that Michigan has been blown out, and they haven't shown up in these bowl games. So the question is, now you could say that's a little harsh. Harbaugh will evaluate what he does from here to January the 1st. He's got almost a month. Will he change some things up? What do you think about, that point that Michigan is, the 1-8, 1-7, they didn't have one in the pandemic year. They haven't had success in bowl games. They changed something up there. What do you think? That's definitely a criticism of Michigan. What do you make of it?
Yeah, Denny, that's what you have to ask yourself. Is it a question of, yes, we've just played really, really good teams that outcoached us, outplayed us, and were better than us? Is that a possibility? It could be. Okay. And it's just like preparing for your first game of the season in a way. I mean, it changed. A lot of stuff changes. You got guys back off injuries, and how much hitting do you do? How much hitting do you do? What is your prep? What is your philosophy? When do you go out? When do you go out to LA? We used to leave on Christmas Day when we played on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Listen, I don't know all of what Jim does, okay, what his beliefs are. Has he tweaked it? Has he modified it? Are they doing more hitting? Are they doing less? When I talked to the guys from back in the day that went out to the Rose Bowl back in the 70s, they said that they used to have double sessions. Bo was just brutal. They just were, it was terrible how physical the preparation was, and that they were beat up before the games. Those are some of the things I heard from guys that played back in the day before me. And, you got to get that happy median. And I don't know what he's doing. Okay. I don't know if he's going to modify it. I don't know if it's just that we ran into some real darn good football teams.
Well, it's usually a mixture of things. You go back to TCU, what cost Michigan was about a half dozen plays, but they had 2 pick sixes. They had a fumble on the goal line. Those 3 things. I mean, like you say, hey, yeah, don't turn the ball over, and certainly don't turn it over on the goal line. Don't have pick sixes. They also ran that Philly special into a zone, which is a real no-no. And then, the other big play was not being able to get Quentin Johnson on the ground and tackle him in space on a 3rd and 7 in a 3-point game. After all that junk had happened, here it was a defensive play. But mostly I would go to the turnovers, the big 3 against TCU. You start going backwards from there. I don't think they were ever going to beat Georgia. Georgia was a way better team, so they didn't have one of the pandemic year. The last year they played Alabama, that was a pretty good Alabama team, especially at wide receiver. I mean, Mac Jones was throwing balls in there. We could go through from Judy and the different. They had 3 pro wide receivers in there. I'll say that Alabama was a better team in that game. And, Shea Patterson, whatever you think of him, he wasn't as good as Mac Jones. They played Florida the one time where they didn't have their captains. They decided that they weren't going to play in that one. And I think the year before, Delvin Cook had the one big run, when they played Florida State. And, other than that, it was a pretty even game. There was one against South Carolina, Don Brown in the fourth quarter. Man, I know everybody was hot with Don Brown against Ohio State, but that was one of the worst coordinated games I'd ever seen from. So, there's a lot of different things that you go through there on all of those. So I don't know how much I would stay away from the steakhouse, from the starters. I know that. That's my.
Danny, let me just finish up on some things. You know what defending Alabama is in a way. It's like defending the orgy package almost every down, except this kid, he throws it a little bit. So the orgy package is going to be great for us preparing for this football team because we run a lot of the stuff they run. So we will have we'll have a good game plan and we'll get a good look from our demonstration offensive team to give our defense a good look. So I'm confident, man. I look at the film. I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. JJ's thrown 1 touchdown in the last 5 games. And, here's KP saying that he's afraid that we don't have the passing game to lighten the boxes for us to run. I think that, JJ has, I'm not acting like, Michigan is going to come out and be able to throw it like, Michael Penix or something like that. But I think JJ has demonstrated that he can throw the ball if you're able to get him some protection up there. And there's the part about he got injured against Penn State. That was a huge factor in the ensuing games. Now in the second half against Penn State, plus he didn't have Harbaugh, which also seems to be a little bit of a factor. I don't know if it's just the confidence of Harbaugh being down there on the sideline, but getting McCarthy a month to get healthy, I think you should feel pretty good about that. This isn't, like, oh, Michigan doesn't have the passing game. I think they're going to be okay. The factors, McCarthy being hurt, I think that was the biggest factor in Michigan not having the passing game down the stretch. Now, they decided that they were just going to run the ball at Penn State because they couldn't block their defensive ends. You can say, oh, that's a great game plan, but hey, what about Michigan's tackles? I mean, there's a point to that one, but I think the rest of the games, JJ was a little bit banged up, and I think, he's going to be as close to 100% as he can be coming up against Bama in the Rose Bowl.
Look, we just have to do the same things we did against Penn State and Ohio State is just have good scheme, make good plays. Our quarterback is going to have to run against this team a little bit. We're going to have to pick our moments for JJ to run to get a first down. We can't, make a living out of it like they do, but we will have a good plan, and we'll need all 3. Running a great offense with our running back game, quarterback keep stuff, and ability to throw it. All 3. We're going to be better able to throw the football than they will. Okay, but their quarterback is a bigger factor in the run game than our guys. So, who's going to that's where we are.
Scar, what are you going to do to bring a championship? You up in your game? I know you're at the gym. People always want to know what you're doing.
I'm just an old washed up guy, man. That's all we can do is cheer, man. Go blue, man. Buy another Michigan hat. Support the NIL, baby. That's it. Might go down to practice one day. We'll see after take a peek at a bowl practice. I don't know. We'll see.
I was hoping you were going to say you're just going to, bring an enthusiasm unknown to mankind over these podcasts. But, maybe that's just a given. You are going to do that. Scar, before we get to the film, let me tell everyone that if you're looking for that special Christmas gift for the Michigan fan in your life, it might be the one that's watching this show right now. There is no better gift in the world than the Maize and Blue review. And you can get that by going to michigan.rivals.com. You got a Michigan fan in your life? You slide this under the tree of the gift of a year subscription to the Maize and Blue review. That Michigan fan in your life is going to thank you every day for the rest of their life. So I don't know. That's the sales pitch for you. It is the greatest stocking stuffer of all time. The Maize and Blue review will see you over there. I don't know how many times if each show I recommend it for you. There's always people out there. I don't know. Let me get a Michigan tie. Let's go. There's a lot of different things you can give. Maize and Blue review is going to be the best for you out there. All right. We're going to get to some film with the Scar of the Telestrator, and that is brought to you by Quick Cut Video and Analytics. And Scar, if you're ready, you just let me know, and I'll get that
ready, Danny.
for you. Let's do it.
Okay, you got me up here with the Hawkeyes coming out.
I see the Hawkeyes. Boy, they look fierce. They look like they're ready to go. This
goes back to Hayden Fry, and it's interesting. Sometimes there's little things that I always thought this was kind of cool. They come out united. Does it intimidate? What does it mean? What does it do? It's just more psychological warfare that coaches do. So I just thought that was cool. We never did it, but here's Big Deacon. Denny, our coach, like I said, our coaches came in on Monday and told our team, we're going to take away zone, and we are not letting them run the boot. I call it the boot here. So every time they ran a play, we had somebody, whether it be a corner, an edge player, a linebacker, something. Okay, we were going to take away. You ain't running the zone play over here. Okay, you're not running that, and you're not booting this quarterback out. That's where we started on Monday with this team, and we bring him to contain. We bring our corner to contain, and we get a nice tackle over here by Barrett.
Nice tackle, Scar. I mean, that set the tone.
It's just, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, we're ready to stop the boot. We're not going to look at it like last year.
When I heard that, I was having shades of the great broadcasters from years past. And Scar, I thought that it was, you would hear Michael Barrett. He's got big hands and a wide back, and he'll come down and he'll give you a pop. And not the kind of pop you get at the candy store. That's what I was thinking when I saw that one. I
just thought I thought this was interesting where we'd get them 3rd and 5, and I'm thinking Hayden Fry, Iowa coming out empty 3rd and 5. And, we had good answers, good packages. Here we're bringing someone, a defensive back off the edge. We're dropping it. These are the things we're going to do against Alabama. Multiple, not knowing who's coming, who's dropping. And we get good coverage here and good pressure. Our punt return game is strong, catching all punts. So that was good stuff.
Good foreshadowing, Scar.
Here's 1st and 10, number 7. Again, anytime we bring Donovan in motion, you got to look at some of the people that are stepping out. How are they feeling? What are they doing when they see 7 go in motion? You just those little bit of tweaks. Sometimes it gets guys out of position. But this is a play we had real success last year, or when we went up to Iowa, running our isolation play here. And we ran it a few times, pick up a few yards. But, it's good. You got tight ends that can block. So, but anyway, 7 in motion creates problems. And then that, we've done this now, Danny, a few times, depending on the matchup. Our coaches will look and see, this kid, Barner, he's a 6'6" kid. He's a tall, big kid, 250-pound guy. And if our coaches see a little 5'10" safety out here, we've done quite a bit of this where we'll isolate here. And not real good look here. You think about this Iowa defense compared to Alabama's, there's some good players out here, man. These guys are smart and tough and great technique. Look what happens to Henderson here. I mean, that's not very good.
Good point, Scar. Just thinking about the Iowa defense, you said that Maryland was a good game prior to playing Ohio State because of Ohio State, how they like to throw the ball and the kind of wide receivers. It feels like Iowa and Ohio State are pretty good prep for playing an Alabama team, the way they play defense.
Yeah, well, Denny, playing Alabama, the best team for our defense, it might be a little bit of Ohio State, but probably a lot more like a Maryland. A lot of their stuff. Anyway, here's a false pull. This is a new play. I don't remember seeing this. It's a pitch. Alabama runs a ton of this stuff. What I mean by false pull is we're pulling guys just to try to influence linebackers, get people believing we're running the football here, because we're pulling guys away from where we're running the football play. That's just all designed to deceive. And now we pitch the ball here to Corum, and we get some blocking out here. But Iowa's smart, man. We pick up yards, but nothing easy against these guys. But that's a good Alabama runs that same play. These dudes are tough, man. They're front four, tough. And our coaches, you got to be patient against what Iowa wants to do. Iowa is old school, Michigan philosophy is, we're going to give you the short stuff. We're not going to let you throw it over our head. You got to take this stuff, Denny. We're 2nd and 5. You got to be satisfied picking up 6 yards.
I'm satisfied there. First down.
Yeah, you can't be greedy against a team like Iowa. We get a nice block here, and he's pass protecting. I thought this was important. But Trente Jones did some good things protecting out here. These guys can rush the quarterback, man. Anyway, we missed the pass there, but I'm just looking at protection. And Trente Jones, he did some decent things. This play is cut off a little early, but we do a little acting job here, kind of like JJ, just like he's going to put Donovan in motion. And at the last second, I got the Oscar here, for the, what that means, for acting, right, Denny?
Good job, Scar. I'm with you, man. You got your fastball today.
But anyway, we block it good. We're blocking down. And this is something that Trente Jones does well, pulling out here. He's got good feet. You see how well he pulled? I think he does this better than Barnhart, pulling. So I think you're going to see, and it was obvious. You could see more of him pulling in this football game. But, anytime you get a 4-yard run against these guys, it's nothing easy against these guys. Yeah, but he jumps off sides here. So moving along.
I'd like to see the camera angle down the line. I thought he jumped once he saw the defender come across the line, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, we got little things. You got to block. Our receivers got to block. You look at and look at this Iowa defense is good, man. I talk about the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and 2 here. Look who's winning the line of scrimmage here. They're knocking us out of there. You see how they're knocking us back a little bit, Denny? This Iowa defense is for real. These guys are well coached. They play with, they're underneath. It's basically they're underneath us. I always said short yardage is about technique and weight room, and they're winning the technique battle here. And then Roman, we got to block this guy. This guy makes the tackle. We got to, this kid too, but our receivers got to block. He played for Michigan. I was really worried when Nugent went down. Luckily he got back in. Denny, I've shared this with you that, in high school, I played on an undefeated team that we didn't give up a point until the 8th game of the year. But I honestly, there was games we won 3-0. I had that same kind of feeling that when we made this kick, I honestly felt this was enough to win. I did. I felt like this was enough against that Iowa offense. As long as we don't turn the ball over, that we were going to be in good shape. I know that might be crazy, but I just felt real good against their offense.
It's not that crazy, but, I'm glad that they put more than 3 points up on the board. How about Turner? 3 of 3 in this game, or 4 for 4, 3 for 3 against Ohio State. He's made his last 14 field goals in a row. He was 14 of 16 on the year.
Yeah, look at Kenny Grant here, though. This is, again, everybody has their play. He's just taking this center and bench pressing him, just squatting him right into the quarterback. So this guy's he's very improved football player. Giving him the short stuff. And I've got, is this Wallace here?
He had a nice game.
Yeah, he's played well. So anyway, good job by Kenny. This guy here, I'm an old art of war, Danny. You've heard me talk about Sun Tzu, the old art of war. Know thy enemy and know thyself. Meaning, what do they do? What is I'm an old defensive coordinator. You got to know everything about the enemy, the players, the coach. What does he like to do? When does he want to do it? And then you got to know your strengths and weaknesses. And Minter, I think, just does a great job. He understands our strengths and weaknesses, and he understands people's strengths and weaknesses. Smart coach. No lateral seams. Coach Moeller used to talk about this all the time. We got one guy real good and one guy bad. And you end up having lateral seams. You know what I mean let me show you what I mean by a lateral seam, Danny. See, Kenny's getting launched. Look at Grant. Look where he is. He's getting pushed back, but Jenkins is so good here, and Grant is getting pushed out of there. Now you have a lateral seam here. You feel me?
I see
You like to have a flat wall is what you want. You want a flat wall. Anyway, sometimes it works out to your advantage because linebackers are able to sneak into those seams. And one of our linebackers sneaks inside there and makes a play because sometimes a guy like Kenny was so bad, there's a seam there. But
linebackers did a great game.
Yeah, but here's this is the thing about playing a team like Iowa. Okay, this is the very next play. Okay, let's watch Kenny here. He got high. He knows he was high the play before. So he made the adjustment. And look at him now. I mean, this is great. This is a great play here. Stuff in this center and coming off. I mean, they make the first down, but it's a good football play. Look how he takes this center here. He's got to have great technique against Alabama.
Kenneth Grant.
This is our stuff, and we're on our base defense. So they're running a play we run. This is our base, Danny, with 3 D linemen and 2 outside edge guys.
Yep.
So they're running our play, our stuff, and we better be able to defend our stuff. And that's exactly what we do. But again, this is why we have a hard time running the football against Iowa. They see this play every day in spring practice too, just like our guys do. So they're good at defending Michigan stuff. But look, Jenkins was outstanding, man. I mean, that's Michigan defense right there. You ask Scar what's one of his favorite plays of the day. It might be this play right here. I mean, look at this. These are flat wall, man. Nothing. Just good technique, stuffing dudes. Nothing. 26. I got a question mark. What are you doing here? Benny getting pushed off. See, look at Benny getting knocked off the ball. But again, we got other guys that make up for it. He's finding the lateral seam. I just got done talking. Benny is so bad here getting pushed out of there. And this guy's decent that now there's a lateral seam. Rod Moore comes up and makes the play. Benny's getting pushed out, and there's a lateral seam. You see that? It's not ideally what you want, but it's good job by Moore.
Yeah, they got a half yard there.
And here's, again, this is Stewart. This kid looks at film, man. They know they know Josiah can rush the quarterback, man, and we get a penalty. That isn't by accident. I don't think that's by accident. I think that the tackle knows who's out there, and he's quivering in his boots a little bit. Here's man coverage we're in, and they do a good job. I don't know why they didn't block it differently. But what Michigan likes to do, so this guy is unblocked, Denny, right? These guys are playing man. What you like to do is block the free safety with one of these guys who's being covered. You follow me? Then you end up having no one. But Quentin Johnson does a great job there.
Joe.
Yeah, and so we're defending the reverse again. These are 2 well-coached defenses, man, because we try to run this against Iowa, and they stuff us because they're smart. These plays are about – it's not so much about athletic ability as it is about, smart defenses. And here we go, punt. This is the big punt return. We do a good job jamming up here. And, Denny, what you don't want from your punt coverage team is to cover in waves, meaning, you got a couple guys here, you got a couple guys here. You want to try to have them all kind of somewhat of a flat wall. You follow me? And when you're coming down in waves, it makes it easier for the punt return guy to make people miss. But we got waves. Look at we've got they've got 2 guys here, 3 guys here, and our guys are beat. Okay, our two gunners are beat by Hawkeyes. Okay, look, he's got a clean shot. He's got a clean shot. He's got a clean shot. So don't try to clip him. Don't have faith that this guy right here will make somebody miss. And that's exactly what happens. He makes guys miss. Film got cut off there, but anyway, it was smart by guys that. Here's the Hawkeye here. He's a little sad, and I thought these dudes were fired up Wolverines.
Great photo. That's how everybody was feeling. Michigan fans,
right.
and got Samaj Morgan. What a great move by Michigan. He hadn't returned a punt all year long, and to have him back there in the title game, nice move.
Denny, it may be, obviously Thaw doesn't drop punts. He's been solid, reliable, but I don't know that Thaw is making that return. So if maybe Morgan has shown him in practice that he will catch every darn punt, because to make that decision as a coach, to put a guy on the bench who hasn't dropped one all year, you have to have a lot of faith in the guy you're putting in there. And then that he can do those kind of things where Thaw probably isn't going to do that.
Scar, let me ask you, my wife asked me, why didn't they have Samaj Morgan in there earlier in the year if he's that big of a playmaker? I said, well, he's a freshman, and Thaw had shown that, he's done a really good job securing the ball. And then Tyler Morris, also must have in fall camp had been displaying that, he could catch. I don't know that if Morgan had dropped some and then showed that you have to catch so many in a row or whatever else. But I told her that, probably as a freshman, Morris, not the freshman, obviously Thaw, more experience there. And by the time you get into this kind of situation, you're not a freshman anymore. That was my answer.
That's as a coach, you've got to have total faith in that. So I think it was probably a lot of what he was doing in practice. He was probably dropping some in practice. Anyway, we're getting good movement here. Bredesen, Barner, this whole left side. Anytime you can get a couple yards against that Iowa defense down there, that's a good thing. So, and we like this play. Our coaches like this. Bo never liked to pull guards on the goal line, but Jim does, and he likes to 77 Keegan pulling, and so it's basically a power play. We get good block by our left tight end, left tackle. We get movement here, and we're pulling our near side guard. So we're sealing down here, and we're going to get him kicking out, and Bredesen will lead through. But it's a well-blocked play, well executed, and it's a play that they like on the goal line. They like pulling the guard on the goal line, and they like doing it with Keegan, and then leading our fullback through. So that's a good play.
Scar, what's it? Rocking the baby? What's this? What are we doing there in the crowd?
Oh, let me get back. I didn't see it.
Maybe the people know. It might be like, something for the younger generation. Here he is.
Oh, I don't know. You're asking an old washed up boomer, Danny. I don't know what.
Rocking the baby there. I don't know. You putting him to sleep. Rock the baby.
Oh, is that what that is?
I don't know. That's my guess. I don't know.
You're asking the wrong guy.
I got 3 people there, 4 people there doing it. Maybe.
Yeah. You want to know about 1970s TV shows? I'm your man.
Aaron says it's putting him to bed, and
okay, there you go.
He's right. It was over.
How about Harb's over here firing up the boys on this? The little things the coach does, the head coach. He found Morgan. I just like seeing that. That stuff matters. So good stuff. Moving along. All right, here we go. Get some good coverage here. Reading the man coverage, getting a good break. Nothing. Best thing that kid ever did was move to defense, man. Had a great career. Going to make a lot of money. Going to make some money in the pros. And here another great break on the football here. Almost picks it off. Maybe he's read the stance. Maybe he knows what Iowa likes to do. 3rd and 3. He's a smart kid. He's reading something. This is why you look at all that film, man. 3rd and 3. What are they doing? just a great break on the football. Again, almost picked it off. So
one of the greatest position switches in Michigan history. A lot of guys
That's right.
switched early on, as freshmen, but he played wide receiver for a couple of years there. I don't know if there's anybody that has switched as late as he did and made the impact that he did.
Again, this is more Denny taking what they give you. Don't be greedy. And this is, this is a tough. This is it's a short. We only pick up a few yards, but look how far JJ's got to throw it. This is the play. This is what all the big pro coaches want. The guy that can throw the outcut from the opposite hash.
Oh yeah.
And they all want that, and he's got that. But you can't be greedy against Iowa. You take that. They're going to give it to you. You keep taking it.
Kojo had a nice game.
Yeah, he was used a lot. O'Leary getting a little clock. Got a catch. Little short yard. Sure-handed kid. We were all excited what we saw in the spring. We haven't really seen him since. But maybe he'll get some more clock. We're bringing this old. We ran this stuff when I was playing. Just bringing everybody slanting to the right. We're bringing a guy off the edge, and we drop him. I'm sure we're dropping now. We bring everybody, but this is well executed. It's gap sound. These little things. You got to do this again every now and then against Iowa. We're slanting to the right and making plays. $15 here making a play.
Houseman.
Yeah, you know why this plays, because these two guys here are doing a real good job, Denny. You can't make this play if these two guys are getting knocked off the ball.
Is that Graham and Grant?
Yeah, both of them are playing football right here. They're eating up double teams. They're eating up that double team, so Hausman's free to flow. Look how he's free to flow. These guys are eating up the double team, and Hausman, look at it. He's unblocked. Unblocked. And who does the announcer call off? Whose name's he calling off?
Houseman.
Is that fair, Danny?
Oh, man, what do you want me to say? Here,
I know. I used to tell I told you.
Made by the guys that
I get it, man.
Harbaugh
I get it.
was a gift from the football gods.
I get it.
And
I used to tell
Harbaugh
my announcer, when I was coaching Denny, I told the announcer, when in doubt, call off those big fellas' names.
And those guys are like, he's the coach. Don't listen. All right, coach.
Hey, this guy, he played a lot. He played a lot in this game, and we're in good shape with him. 18. What's his name again?
Loveland? Oh, McBurrows.
McBurrows, yeah. Okay. Anyway, Iowa well coached. Here we are running, we defended reverse pretty good, and we have good success against people running reverse. 80% of the times we have good success with it, but these guys are smart. It isn't that they're the best athlete. No, this is just containing. This is not the reverse. But they're not letting JJ outside of the defense because they take good angles. Are these 5-star guys? No, they just take good angles. They got him boxed in. They then they get contained up here. You got to know who you're dealing with, JJ. That's a smart team. So,
a lot of 3-and-outs in this game for Michigan. Woo!
Yeah, more than we wanted, man. So let's moving along here.
How much did they miss Zach Zinner, Scar?
I think a little bit, Denny. Yeah, there's things he gives us, and a little bit. So we're coming with pressure here. We're not letting them throw this rollout quarterback stuff. This is a unique formation. They've been running this last couple of games. 2 tight ends here, and down distance is 3rd and 2. So we're right in his face, and this is where we forced the turnover. How much do you work on this as coaches, putting that helmet right on the ball? That's a huge play.
I wasn't really watching those guys, Scar. I was watching Harrell up front get after the quarterback, because you were telling me to watch the defender. I really wasn't watching.
That was the anyway. That was the play where we create the turnover. But this is stuff. Yeah, we're not real happy that we maybe we didn't move the ball as much as we wanted. But look at this punt, and look where they start. It's easy to play defense when they're starting there. So that's a great job there. And the weakness of zone. Iowa wants to play a ton of zone. And here's number 7. And we just say, okay, you're going to give that to us? Again, this is not being greedy. You can't be greedy. We might have to do this against the Crimson Tide. Just not be greedy.
Whatever it takes at this point.
Yeah.
JJ's going to be a lot more mobile in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, he'll be healthier. Here's another good punt. Again, we're starting here. So all this stuff matters. All right, we're rushing forward. We're getting pressure. This Iowa protection unit is good. They do it. It's hard to get there, but we get by them here. We had some success against their left tackle. McGregor had success. Harrell has success. We're only rushing 4, and it was again. It's good to go against their Alabama's quarterback. This is a whole nother deal against their guy because their guy can run. So
Harrell can get him on the ground.
Well, wait till you see the film of this kid, Denny. This guy can run, man.
Yeah, I've been watching.
He can run. So we run this play a lot. It's kind of like an isolation, only we'll have the guard work inside instead of leading a fullback through. So we're going to block out with the tight end. We'll lead our guard up through in here, try to get up on that linebacker. We've had some success with this play. Pick up a few yards. Again, anytime you can get 5 yards against these guys, that's pretty good. Good job by Zinner there. This is JJ, enough wheels to get outside the defense. So this is, we're going to have it. Good protection. That's why I have that play circled. Good protection, gets outside the defense, throws a good pass. And here's Orgy in here. Again, this is a different scheme. We're running quarterback power. And Alabama will run this same kind of stuff. So we're just we're leading with this is Mullings leading, and we're pulling our backside guard. He's going to kick out. Well blocked. Pick up 6 yards. Beautiful.
I'm ready for Orgy to throw one.
Yeah. Okay, throw to 2. We haven't done a ton of this, Denny. Throwing the ball to Corum. And, Iowa defense, God, they do such a good job defending bubble. I mean, look what this kid does to this stuff is coached up good. Look what this guy does right here to Roman. Just stuffs him. And then we get the holding penalty there. Roman should just let him go. Not a good penalty.
I didn't like that call.
I didn't like it either, but you got to be, look, he's a linebacker. He's got you by 30 pounds. It's a tough block. Here's JJ. And this was just a huge difference in the game. JJ can do this, and Big Deacon, he couldn't. He wasn't doing it. We put Roman in motion. We just throw that little outcut there. It's not a hard pass to complete. But, little stuff that our guy could do and their guy couldn't. They're in man coverage there. Iowa played a lot more man coverage than they used. Than Parker's always been so much zone. He's playing more man. Again, here's this. There's the reverse I was talking about, Denny. How smart these guys are. They just got guys that do the little things. They keep leverage.
Stay home.
Look at this guy here. Keep outside leverage. It gets cut off, but this guy, it's a no gain play. And this guy comes from the inside out. He's coming. It's a no gain play because it's smart coaching. Again, here, look where we stick him again. So that's great punt coverage. You know what I would do if I was Iowa, Denny? If I was
make that guy your head coach.
What I would do is I'd say, this is Phil Parker, okay, the great Spartan safety. I played against him. Great defensive coach. I would say, hey, Phil, what offenses give you trouble? What are the toughest offenses to defend? I would talk to Phil about offense. And I guarantee you he knows what gives you trouble, because what they're doing doesn't give you enough trouble. I thought this was a great job by Jenkins. Grant's a little high. Look at Jenkins punching, playing his gap.
Spartans should bring him home as their defensive coordinator. Open up the check.
He's not flashy. I don't know.
Not flashy enough? Okay.
You talked about flashy. You said they need flashy. All right, here we are slanting our defense.
I didn't say that. They just need solid defensive coordinator.
He's a great defensive coach. And here we come off the edge and create a turnover. Minter ain't afraid to bring pressure. It's easy to bring pressure against this team, but big play by Sanistrol. And this is the stuff, Denny, I talked about it the other night. How did Jim know to initiate this discussion? Are we going to do that if he's not there? Obviously, it was a huge play because now it's our ball. So, let me get back to that. And I'm leaving that play for. Let's see. Take a look at Benny here. This is a good job. He splits a double team, comes off and makes a play. He's knocked off the ball initially, and they don't keep the contact, and he comes off and makes the play. Takes on the double, spins off, makes the play for half a yard gain. It's a good job by Benny there.
It's my guy.
Again, here's some boot pass stuff. Taking this, booting out here.
That's good coaching there too. You didn't take see a lot of times they hit the quarterback late here, or hit him in the head.
Denny, who is this player? What player? Who is that? Is that
Stewart.
Moore?
Stewart.
Oh, that's Stewart. Great job reading it, because I guarantee you they coached the heck out of that.
Yeah, I like that. Very good coach.
They are not running boot pass against Michigan. And this is a tough play to defend. Middle screen. This is a tough play to defend. And they pick up yards on it. I know I'm going kind of fast. Denny, when I played, I don't know if Jim still does it. There's a drill we used to do. We called it individual challenge. Okay, it was tackle, tight end versus the defensive tackle, outside linebacker, or edge player now. Okay, and it was just a reach block. It was a base block or a reach block, and the coaches would film it. And on the other end of the other side, the nose guard would be going with the linebackers against the guards and centers. You follow me? You had guards or center, and then the two guards going against the nose guard and the two linebackers. And it would be filmed. So there'd be a camera filming here, and the guys would be filming the defensive tackle and the outside backer. What does that have to do with this? Well, this play right here, we used to see, everybody runs outside zone. Okay. So what this play is individual challenge. And I ran it as a coach. He's going to try to reach Jenkins. He's going to try to knock Harrell off the ball. And look how we stuff this play. Watch these two players down here. Just stuffing it. Oh, man. Oh, that might be my favorite play of the day right there, Denny, on defense. Because this is two defensive players. Look where we're playing football. I mean, we do this drill every day, punching, playing at the line of scrimmage, and walking them back, weight rooms, leg strength, walking them back. I mean, these are big dudes here. That's a big tackle, big tight end. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stuffed. individual challenge, Denny. That's a drill we did all the time. And the coaches would look at it. Look at Barrett here. This is a great play by Barrett. He's about a maybe 220-pound kid. I don't know, 215. And they're bringing him here. And he's in a tough bind here. He's got a 2-gap, this kid. He's got to play both gaps on this 300-pound tackle or guard. He just stuffs him and comes off and makes a play for short of the first down. Okay,
He's
so
listed at 239.
Oh, is he that heavy? Wow. Okay, I didn't know he was that big.
I don't know. That's what he has on the roster.
He might. He's a stout kid. Here's 3rd and 5. And they're on the 48-yard line, and he just stuffs this kid. I mean, that's a great play. Okay, what's that got to do with anything? Okay, guess what though? It's 4th and 1 now. We got a chance now. And you like this? You were talking about this the other night. Look how low we are. We get lined. First of all, we get lined up quickly because Iowa was rushing to the ball. So number one, we got lined up quickly because our coaches prepared our guys for it. And now we're playing with great technique. And then it's about Ben Herbert too. Then it's about Ben Herbert, and you got to play with great technique. And we're underneath everything. Our guys are submarining down in there, coming off.
Barrett and Colson cleaning it up top. I mean,
yeah, but Denny, they're not making that play if there's movement.
Oh,
here.
I'm with you on that.
There's no movement, and that's all about technique and then driving your legs. So
yeah,
that's a huge stop. Little toss here. I think you're going to see some more plays in the playbook with Trente Jones out here at tackle. And we've ran this play a couple times in this game. We didn't run it. We did run it with Barnhart. I just think maybe a little more with him. So eyes, play recognition. Harrell out here. It's empty formation. He's thinking, he's seeing things. What are the splits telling me? What's the down and distance? He reacts quickly, gets his hands up. Good job. Play recognition, formation, all that film study. There's 3 guys here that do a good job on this screen. They sniff it out. They're feeling it. Something ain't right. What's the down and distance? 2nd and 10. So it's 2nd and 10. Jenkins is rushing. What's he feeling? These guys what is he feeling? He sees this something. He feels that tackle, his lineman cross his face. He doesn't keep rushing. He gets down the line of scrimmage. And these guys, what I like about this is they're keeping the ball inside the defense. We got him pinched in. The play's defended, 2-yard gain. Good job. Little things. Play recognition. This kid turned out to be a pretty good player, Page, number 7.
Yeah.
Out of West Bloomfield. So he's really improved.
Yes, he has.
And here's McGregor coming off the edge. A lot of us had success with this big left tackle for them. It doesn't do you any good to go for the headshot. You're better off stripping the ball. Let's get the ball. Big play, turnover.
Nice play.
Good job by him. Beat him with speed. And now here we are bringing more of our exotic stuff. Just get there a little late. But again, these are the things we're going to give Alabama. I don't know how much of this stuff they've seen. Bring in here, drop in here, bring in there. And we get a good breakout here by, I think this is Wallace.
Yeah. Good. He had a good game.
So a lot of that stuff is on the table for the Nick Saban. Yeah, a lot of film today. We got 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. What's the down and distance? 4th down, 4th and 5. And we're showing 7 up. Who's coming, who's rushed, who's dropping. They don't know. And we give them a good look and get off the field.
And McBurrows again.
Yeah. Good job by JJ here rolling out. You know, I give our coaches credit. You know, we're up 23-0, but they're, you know, I was going to slow down and really try to stop our run. So let's throw the high percentage pass.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought they would have just ran the ball.
But, you know, they're going to just overload, and that's an easy, low risk play. So, you know, Danny, I thought about this. They were, I guess they were chanting at the game, you know, about Zach. We want Zach. Was that what they were chanting?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you know, if you're a recruit at that football game and you're listening to that about a guy that got hurt, the captain, and you're seeing that's something. That says something, man. You know, if you're a recruit at the Michigan-Ohio State game and the captain gets hurt and you hear the crowd chanting like that, that's a good thing. That these people care about our players. Anyway, we're running. Are we pulling Big Trente or we're pulling Henderson here? A lot of this stuff blocking down. Well blocked.
El Hadi in there.
Danny, I didn't tell you this. I took a under 25.5 bet. So I was the only guy cheering. Can you miss one? Can you miss one all year? So this cost me a couple dollars.
And from 50.
From 50 yards. Yeah, I had under 25.5. Because I didn't think there'd be much score. And I was right. You know, that you take the turnovers and the punt return away, it would have been a different game. But good job by Moore here and Big Kenny running a little stunt. They time it up good, mesh it up real good. Coming inside, Kenny's coming outside. Good job by both of them. Good job. Danny, when I was coaching, well, let's get this last play. Now we got El Hadi, and I thought we might see more of him, but I like this. I like the block I saw from Klein here. Because I don't know, you know, we're going to lose Barner. Who's going to block next year? Who's going to, you know, we want to see that El Hadi because we're losing that whole darn offensive line.
It's going to go into the transfer portal. Let's go.
Danny, I've been in Jim's situation now as a coach here, okay? And like right around now, you see, he's thinking, okay, where's the water guy coming? Where's the Gatorade guy coming from? You follow me?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get doused. So I used to ask my guy up in the press box, I said, hang on, don't come down yet. I want to know. I don't want to get doused with Gatorade. So Jim has definitely showed the wheels here. He sees it. He identified it. He doesn't want to get doused with Gatorade. I thought this was funny.
He can see it right there in front of him.
He's still got the wheels, man. I thought that was funny.
Good cut.
He's still got the wheels, man. But great job. We went kind of long. A lot of good stuff. Come out healthy. Get everybody healthy. I guess Jim was giving them the week off.
Oh,
get your body healthy and a little bit of lifting. Bring, what is it? BET.
Yeah, that.
Bring everyone together.
That's what it means, according to Harbaugh.
That's it.
Oh, I know.
But hey, Denny, Friday I will go over, or Jerry's going to go over Alabama defense on Friday. With some more of this Iowa film. I'm going to have Mondays. I'll go over the Alabama offense. I feel good. We're going to have a good plan for them. And we're going to make that quarterback beat us with his arm. And we can't let him just hand the ball off. But we're hanging banners, man. We're keeping the banner guy busy. We'll be getting fitted for rings here again soon. And all is good up in Ann Arbor, Denny. Go blue.
Can't wait to New Year's Day.